Hi, I'm out here on Tupper Lake today, not skating. As you can see, there's 4 to 6 inches of snow on top of the ice. I shoveled out this little patch here so that it provided a clear area where I could bring out some gear and show you the gear that I use typically when I go wild ice skating. Wild ice skating is different than rink skating. It's different than skating on a groomed or plowed path. The Rideau Canal, Lake Maury, the groomed path on Mirror Lake and Lake Placid, those are all pieces of ice that are plowed and brushed off on occasion, sometimes resurfaced, and some of them very often. And their thickness, the ice thickness, is carefully monitored by the guiding entities. I'm talking about wild ice skating. This is on lakes and ponds and rivers and streams where no one checks the ice thickness except the individuals who go out and actually skate on that ice. When you're skating in a rink or skating on a groomed path, much of what I'm going to show you today is not necessary. It's not necessary. But the things that I will show you today, I would say all of it should be considered, you should consider to have in your tool pouch, in your gear bag, if you're going to consider going out and skating on wild ice. So the first thing that I'd like to touch on, and not any particular order, is a PFD. This is a regular kayaking PFD. I like this one because it's padded, so if I happen to take a fall, it's going to give me some padding. It's also warm, which is maybe of value to you. There are also PFDs such as this one, which is a self-inflator. It automatically inflates if you fall into open water. If it gets wet, there's a little disc inside that melts away, releasing the CO2 cartridge. It's very comfortable, very light, and I use these PFDs in different situations. If I were to wear a backpack, this is the PFD I would wear because it has nothing on the back. If I were to wear a fanny pack, I would wear this PFD because it does have something on the back. It provides warmth on my back, and the fanny pack does not impede the use of the fanny pack. This PFD would impede the use of a backpack. Not very comfortable at all. When do I use the different PFDs? When do I use the different packs with the PFDs? It's what my base layer is. I'm wearing a Gore-Tex suit. This is a dry suit. It has neoprene cuffs, a neoprene collar. It's got waterproof zippers, and it has Gore-Tex booties built into the suit. So if I were to fall into water with this suit, I would not get wet except for my head and my hands. That means I have to carry less things with me. If I'm wearing my dry suit, and I typically wear it at the beginning of the season when the ice is a little more sketchy than it would be later on in the season, or at the end of the season when it's beginning to soften up, I would wear this PFD with a fanny pack. If I were in mid-season, nice thick ice, not really much of a concern about falling in, I would wear regular polypropylene clothing, fleece clothing, nylon clothing, or wool clothing, and I would wear a self-inflating PFD with a backpack. This is the pack. This is my pack of choice. Packs can be very expensive, and a regular pack, in my opinion, is okay, but it would be much better to get a pack such as this, which is a roll top waterproof pack. The reason I say that is that if you fall in If you fall through ice and you're wearing a regular backpack, the backpack will gain water. It'll soak up water, it'll fill with water. And then you will have a situation where you're going to be carrying 40 pounds of water on your back. Not a good idea. So this pack, once it's sealed up, can act as a life preserver, at least to a certain degree. This one I picked because of its waterproofness, but also because it has really good shoulder straps, really good hip straps, and a good sternum strap. Again, if you're going to be skating any distance, it's just like hiking. If you're going to hike 20 miles, you're going to want a pack that's got pretty decent suspension so that the load is supported by your hips as well as your shoulders and is comfortable over that distance. Okay, so regular season, I'm carrying a waterproof backpack. Inside the pack, I also have a dry bag, and inside the dry bag I have a complete set of dry clothing. The clothing will have, I will have a complete set of underwear, long johns, socks, a shirt, pants, a jacket, plastic bags to put my feet into to go back into wet boots, and also a sheet of plastic to stand on so that I'm not melting the snow when I strip off and get changed. The other things I carry typically are things I would carry in the backcountry. Here's a bivy sack, toilet paper, touch on that in a moment, a SAM splint. I also have a small first aid kit in this pack, as well as extra batteries, hand warmers, toe warmers. It's set up for skating. I don't use it the rest of the year. There's no need for it. Lunch is extremely important. You burn a lot of calories out here, and so bringing enough food and carbs and protein to get you through the day is really important. Snack items, don't wait until you're starving. Feed yourself as you go through the day. Also, water. We respire, we sweat a lot. These suits can get warm. And so water is, and hydrating yourself is extremely important. At any time in the wintertime, especially, you don't recognize it because it's not hot. I always bring a small thermos also, and I use a mix of cocoa and coffee because I like it and gives me a little stimulation, a little bit of sugar. It's heavy, but it's worth its weight. That thermos is worth its weight on a cold day like today. To sit down at lunch and have something warm in your hands and warm going down your throat is great. Invariably, when I skate, I wear a helmet. This is not a bicycle helmet. It's a ski helmet. You could wear a bicycle helmet. It's better than nothing. But I find that the ski helmet is meant for winter sports, for one thing, so it's warmer. You can also take out some of the insulative material, and it can serve to be a little bit cooler if you warm up during the day. So it's got more flexibility, and it's got protection down to into the back of your head and lower neck. Very important. A helmet is a really critical piece of equipment. And if you can fall, you can fall in an instant and not realize you're falling until you hit the ground and smack your head. And that can be a life-changing experience, to say the least. I find that elbow and knee pads are also incredibly useful. I can't remember the last time I went out on wild ice and didn't fall. Sometimes several times in a day. And as the day goes on and you get more tired, oftentimes you can fall more. It happens like that. So the helmet's really valuable. These are really valuable to protect the things that poke out all the time. your knees, your elbows. These ones are cheapos that I got in a closeout one time for, they're meant for paintball enthusiasts. They go on with Velcro, you pop them on, you pop them off. Really handy, and they have saved my elbows and my knees many, many times. Another piece of personal equipment are ice claws. These guys are very inexpensive. I wear them deployed like this so that they're on my chest, so I can quickly grab them, pull them out, and use them to pull forward. I've seen several people fall through ice and get themselves out without using ice claws. It certainly can be done. You can look online, Gordon Giesbrecht videos show you the technique, and basically what you're doing is kicking your legs, getting your rear end up, and scooting yourself up onto the ice. The claws make it a little bit easier and give you another level of comfort to have if you happen to fall through ice. A throw rope. This bag has 80 feet of line in it. It is also weighted on the end, so you can hold the line, throw the bag to someone, and they can grab onto the line, wrap it around them. There is a loop on the end. Wrap the loop around them and you can pull them out. Carry this on the outside of your pack so that's, or someplace where you can easily get to it. The idea of a throw rope is not so that if you fall through, you're going to grab your throw rope someplace and throw it to somebody. No, it's if someone goes through and you're on the ice, you can take it out of your pack and throw it to them. So we talked about ice claws, helpful when you fall through. These tools I use to determine to try to reduce the chance of me falling through. You know, whenever you're skating on wild ice, you want to know how thick the ice is. Before you get on it, you'd like to know what the ice thickness is. And so there are several tools to do that. This is an ice pike or ice pick. And in essence, all you do is poke until you get through the ice and hit water. Now there I just hit water. A lot of people use a single pole. Many people use double poles, and these are ice poles. These are meant for testing thickness and strength of ice. They're not ski poles. Ski poles will not do what these guys do. We have rules of thumb for using these as far as the number of pokes, depending on the day, to decide whether or not that ice is strong enough. So here's another ice pike or ice pick. This one's a monster. I like this one. I made both of these. This is nothing more than a hoe handle with the ferrule. I think I got it at Aubuchon's, and with a grade 8 bolt point that's been sharpened, needs sharpening now again, and pinned through. And I've had this guy for about 10 years. It's served me very well. This one I just made this year. Had my son fabricate this stainless steel head with a removable point, which is a really nice piece, and it really is quite a nice tool. These are heavy, and some people don't like to carry them, but if you're doing a lot of exploration skating on lakes and ponds, rivers and streams, sometimes you're going to want to walk around an obstacle. Unclip your skates, get some cleats on, and walk across a piece of land or another piece of ice. And these are the best I've found. Do yourself a favor, put the yak tracks away, use them to shovel the driveway. Don't bring them out into a wilderness setting. These are much better. They're easy to put on. These are Catula micro spikes, and once you have these on, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to slip or slide. Now, I did something that obviates the need for these in most cases, and that is I took carbide screws and I screwed them into, these are 3/8 inch long screws with a carbide head, and I screwed them into the sole. There's 5 on this side, 4 on this side, and 2 on the heel. Screw them into the sole outside of the platform for my skates. So now I've got permanent traction devices in my boots. So I don't carry the Catulas anymore. I'd like to show you these blades. Many of you are thinking about buying Nordic skates, and these are Nordic skates. They come in a variety of sizes, anywhere from 15 to 21 inches. These are 21 inches. I'm a short guy. I'm only 5'5". I like the longest blades, the 21-inch blade. And I use the NBC binding. These are I don't get paid by Alpina or anybody else or Rockefeller or anything. But I like these Alpina 1550 boots. They're insulated, they're waterproof, they've got a strap across the top to stabilize the ankle, they're very comfortable, and they're stable in the binding. When you clip these in, they're free heel skate, but they're very stable and they feel very good and very comfortable. And then finally, I also carry with me a small GPS unit. I use a Garmin eTrex 20. Again, I don't get paid by Garmin, but it's a good little unit. It's small. It's seemingly waterproof. I've dipped it in water and it's come right back. I like to keep my track of the day of where I was, and that's for fun, just to know, hey, on such and such a date, I skated 15 miles with these friends. But also, I like to download the track so others can see where I was in case they want to go out. Then they have an idea that at least on that day, at that time, those areas where the track shows were safe to skate, and so it becomes somewhat of a safety device also. We've talked a lot about the safety equipment that I use. When do I use it? I touched upon when I use it. I ascribe to the motorcycling acronym ATGAT. All the gear, all the time. There's no point in you having the gear and knowing how to use it if you don't bring it with you. So yeah, sometimes you say, oh God, this ice looks so nice, I'm just going to go out for a little bit, I don't need that backpack, I don't need this, I don't need that. Do yourself a favor, get in the habit and just do it. The glide is so good that a little bit of extra weight is not that big of a deal.